it does. I just want to reach there. Oh, gosh. Are we on live now?
Yes.
Oh, man,
our intro has disappeared.
Disappeared.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood. From the mayor's office. And now behind the mic at KXCX.
The man cannot keep a job.
What the hell's going on
And next,
out
the
there?
unemployment line at Tulare Street
Everybody
in Fresno.
try to... The only thing we have
I don't fear any man.
is fear itself.
Today, I feel like I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I do.
What's after that?
I please don't tell me we're streaming live.
We are. Do you want me to cut it?
No, you can't.
No, that would really make it
Hold
look
on,
bad.
wait. We're doing the intro ourselves,
That'd
Jeremy. Okay, what heck?
Folks, we're waiting to get the intro for the radio here.
Face of the ice.
Huh?
What the hell's going on?
You know
out
who that
here?
is? That's Lou Gehrig. Speak with reverence when you think about it. When
That's
you speak
what
of
he
him.
sounds like.
Yes, but he was dying. You heard of Lou Gehrig's disease?
Oh yeah.
He's the one that got it first.
I thought that was like an
oh
accent.
gosh, please, you need to go. You need to go think about
Dang
this. You need to have a little time out. Go
Okay,
think about Lou, sweet Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth.
Oh, I know what it is. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
That's right.
I found the old school intro for now.
That'll be better
We
than.
don't have the intro.
That's
It disappeared mysteriously.
Alan, that's why I'm doing the intro.
I'll find it today, though.
That would help. All right.
Have we been infiltrated here,
Basically.
trying to get our intro? People stealing our intro.
All right, we're
Oh,
going
and then it goes to the preacher. No, hey, man.
Well, Obama stole yes we can from me. That was our mayoral
Really?
candidate. That's absolutely
Yes,
right.
we can. That was on your
2000.
posters?
Yes, we can. He stole it from me. Although I stole it from Cesar Chavez.
Cesar Padre
Cesar Padre.
is what Cesar Chavez.
Do we have any cuts available?
anything?
Yeah. We're good to go. You
Everything
wanna start
but
going?
the intro.
You gonna play it anytime?
Yeah. We're all ready. All right, here we go.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX. This is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. We are
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Siwa, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat Manic Monday here in Fresno, California. Turn up the heat. It's not hot enough here. I'm still wearing a coat. That's like when I was in Green Bay. Get 20 below, we were still in tank tops.
Oh, those guys are weird.
Come on
Jesus.
now. We live in Fresno, California.
It's hot.
2023. I mean, pinch me. We're in paradise and don't even know it. Come on, give me a game, man. We could be. Hey, do you realize
hot.
all the places you could be in the world today?
Yeah, the Bahamas,
Maui,
Fiji.
For the first time in my life, I thought I would never hear myself say, man, I'm glad I'm not in Hawaii.
I'm about to say.
And all those folks out there, as the toll rises over 100, I think, my goodness, our hearts, prayers go out to you.
So hard.
My God, have you seen the pictures?
I have.
Gosh, it looks like Hiroshima.
Yeah.
It just, the whole, is it Lahaina? The whole town just completely gone. It really looks like an eerie moonscape post-atom bomb Hiroshima. And that fire, I mean, the parallels between that and how an actual atomic bomb does its damage are eerily similar. And, I talk about that a lot, that we're on the verge of having a nuclear war over there in Ukraine. And I just think, don't get carried away, folks. I'm not one of these saying, well, God's definitely doing this to give us a heads up. I don't know. I don't believe God causes these things. I think he allows them to happen, and there's a purpose behind everything. You hear the people of Hawaii talking, and you know with certainty that despite how difficult and horrendous and heartbreaking that this natural disaster is, you can just feel the determination to come back stronger and better. The people there. I've been to Hawaii a 3 times playing football there, and you pick up on that in the culture very quickly. They're not quitters. They march by they. I mean, they have all different kinds of folks there, Guillermo, just like any other state. But there's a pervasive culture there of live and let live, love each other. Don't get caught up in the rat race, if you will. I mean, it's the beach thing that, time is precious.
I love it.
Stuff is what life is made.
Weekend starts on Thursday over there, right?
Well, they work hard.
Yeah.
They work hard. I mean, they go out there, a lot of farming going on there. People that work in the service industry for the tourists. I mean, they work. There's a work ethic there.
I've never been.
But they go, you need to go. You need to go. I need to take my wife back again. As soon as it's opened up, we will.
Thank you, I'll carry your luggage.
And by the way, folks, still go there to Oahu. I think the island's still open for business. My goodness, tourism is their big source of income. And you don't want these small businesses to go out of business. That even hurts the recovery effort even more.
That's very true.
More so.
Very true.
Schedule your trip there. Let's help these folks out. But it's just a special, special place. And they have this spirit in them, this indomitable spirit that they're going to get through whatever happens. They've had things hit, hurricanes regularly, tsunamis that came in and really tore up the island not too many years ago. But anyway, they're very special people. But there's something to be learned from that, and that's depending on each individual, how you process that. If you're a person of faith, things don't happen randomly. And what are the messages beyond the catastrophic nature of the incident that maybe God is trying to speak to us? So with that, any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No, I hope our federal response is quick. They're going to need a lot of help over there. And it's not something where it's obviously connected to the mainland, so we could just have supplies over there just readily available. So I really hope the Fed step up. I hope Joe Biden could be asking a lot from our federal government, but do the right thing, step up, and get them the help they need.
And here you go. You have to get down, as you said, politics is math, and so is survival as a nation. Fiscally is about math. How much money do you have coming in? How much money are you going out? Now, I'm not getting political on this thing, but here's the case in point. How in the world are you going to rebuild a financial rebuilding of Ukraine, which is going to happen, and Hawaii? Where do you find the money? We're already $32 trillion in debt. If you didn't have that going over in Ukraine, spending billions, they just signed another bill that he's trying to push through for another $40 billion. And it's like pulling teeth to get something done here in America.
Where does all the money go?
Well,
we've spent a lot of money over there.
That's the $1 trillion question.
And the guy's still worrying
that it used to be $1 million question. Inflation is not true. That's the $1 trillion question.
Well, you got Zelensky wearing the same green shirt. Like it's and I don't say that in a very mean way.
Sure you do.
I do. But where's the money going? Where's the money going? I would expect some basic upgrades in equipment, some clothes. Maybe I'm just severely underestimating how much things cost, or maybe the money's not going where it's going.
Well, considering it was the third most corrupt nation in the country before the war, and suddenly they're like Eden. Nothing's wrong with the Ukraine. Proceeding like that is very dangerous. It's, am I saying that our money spent there is thrown down a rabbit hole? I don't know. They just have a history, a documented history of corruption. You got to remember, this is the country that hired Hunter Biden on the board, knowing full well that he was a cokehead and a crackhead. I mean, that's just and one of the most powerful boards, their energy board in Ukraine. That was just a small example of the Ukraine corruption. And they talk about Russian oligarchs. For every Russian oligarch, there's at least one Ukrainian oligarch. that's siphoning that money. And hopefully Zelensky's a man of honor and he's honest. But he just had to get rid of his entire recruitment force because they were taking bribes. The military leaders of recruitment and retention of their soldiers there, he cleaned house. Why? Because apparently these folks were helping people get out of the military for pay. You give me 1,000 rubles or whatever the currency is there.
You blame them?
And I'll get you out. And if you don't and you want to come in, we'll figure out some way to defer you and get you out. And that in itself, a couple of things. You know that you got corruption right inside your military to a great degree. I mean, in terms of getting people to fight, you got to win a war. That's a key point. Can you get people and keep people to fight? But then it also, begs the question of how deep does this go? How pervasive is it? And how much you keep giving these folks with no accountability. Now, to Zelensky's credit, he's the one that came out and made it public that he was getting rid of these folks. Now, did he do that because there was some whistleblower out and he beat them to the punch? To come out and go public with, hey, we got this problem. Usually countries, they'll sweep that under the rug. So hopefully he's sincere in what he did. He saw it was brought to his attention, and he took action. But anyway, the people of Hawaii, it's all connected, folks. Sadly, it is. It's in a global economy. We're involved in what most of our founding fathers said don't do. And many of our libertarian friends say you got to tip your hat. Don't get involved in foreign wars thousands of miles away unless you know what you're fighting for and how you're going to achieve victory. You just don't do that. We should have learned our lesson in Vietnam and Afghanistan and Iraq as we put our tail between our legs and ran out of all three of those wars.
Yeah.
And here we are in Ukraine. Okay. Is it time for a break already?
No.
That is the voice of power you just heard from Guillermo Moreno. The owner of KXX gave a firm niet.
Well, we can if you'd like.
We're staying here. Oh, gosh, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm staying here. I like my job.
Oh, come on.
I like my job at KXEX. Hey, before we get into this, I want to talk about the immigration issue, which has always been a national issue. But if you listen to the left, the Democrats, it's only confined to border states and border towns. They can handle this influx of millions and millions and millions of illegal immigrants. They have the resources to do it. So quit whining. And if you do whine, you're a racist and you don't care about people and you want babies to suffer and women to suffer and all this stuff. That's been the party line. Well, that's starting to change and change big time. But before we get to that, I was thinking driving over here, our mayor, here locally, Mayor Jerry Down, a good friend of mine. I don't know if he considers me still a friend, but I consider him a friend. And I've been kind of critical. I think very openly about his tenure so far as mayor, because I know what he can do as opposed to what he's doing. And I know you only have a finite time in that office, because once you get through your first term and you're elected a second term, you're automatically lame duck. Very few people are listening.
Really?
Oh, gosh.
Even though you have 4 years, you're still in charge for 4 years.
Yeah, they're planning. Developers are planning on what they're doing 4 or 5 years from now. Your influence wanes. And when you haven't built up a lot of influence in the places that you need to have, meaning you ran on a position of one Fresno, that you could bring the people in mass along with you. And that's a very powerful position to have. I think we had that during my administration. But you don't get that by caving in to every request from every angle, from every group, and trying to please everybody, even when it means violating your unshakable principles. I have a theory, a belief that if you're going to govern, you're going to lead effectively in political office, you must come to that office with unshakable principles and flexible politics. There's a difference. One of these days we can do a whole show on that, dissecting that. But I can think of some examples now, but we'll get off. We only have an hour. And I've seen this mayor compromising at least what I thought. With that disclaimer, at least what I thought were some unshakable principles when he didn't have to. And here's the box that he's, Guillermo, and I want you to just go and run with this, that I think he's boxed himself into by his own doing. You don't, Jerry Dyer had a chance, I believe, to be a transformational mayor. And not just here in Fresno as a mayor, but a transformational figure statewide. He had
nationwide.
Nationwide. He had the presence. He had the charisma. He had the experience. He had the gift of gab. He had the gift of empathy to be able to bring people together and go where maybe they needed to go but didn't have the courage to go. But he would go and they would follow. And in California, that is needed desperately. In his case, he had a set of unshakable principles that if he would have stuck to and built his political philosophy and policies around those unshakable principles, he would have amassed tremendous support that would have allowed him to break through this council majority that he's so afraid of and running scared of. People look at me and go, well, you didn't have a council. That is hogwash. I mean, I didn't have a council that was against me. I was outnumbered on everything, Guillermo. I mean, I had Tom Boyage in there, Brad Castillo, as Guillermo says, go look it up. Cynthia Sterling, good people, but way on the left, the majority on the left. The counterbalance to them was I went to the people. I could go to the people on radio stations, on TV. I could do a press conference and explain to the people why I was taking the position I was taking and why it may appear in the short term that you may not agree with it, but let me tell you why and where I'm going with this and why I feel with all my heart it's the best for Fresno. And we were able to turn around issues that I had put forth that were down 5-2 in the council, sometimes 6-1. The juvenile accountability ordinance is one of them. The kids shouldn't be running amok on the streets of Fresno when they should be in school. Basically a daytime curfew. And that's still in the books, but they're not enforcing it. Paco Balderrama, if you're listening, enforce it and watch crime plummet during the daytime. But I turned that from a 6-1 against to a 6-1 for because I took it to the people. Here's the problem. When you adhere to policies like he's doing with Governor Newsom, and I use the term he's become a lap dog, puppy dog for Governor Newsom. I say that to just illustrate a point. Yeah, that's tough. But Jerry's an ex-jock. I'm an ex-jock. Coaches, the ones we love the most, admit the most of us, were tough on us. They use more analogy I can't even say on TV about how we were playing, how I was playing. About
how were you playing?
Worse than worse than a little puppy dog. And they let me know it in very colorful terms. But those were the coaches I remember. Those are the coaches I'm most thankful to. They were tough on me because I knew they were right. Jerry in his heart of hearts knows that I'm right on this, but something's getting in the way. And he's on this. I don't know if he's drank fully a glass of the Newsom Kool-Aid, but he's lapping it like a lap dog. He's lapping away at that Kool-Aid. He's got enough in him right now to sideline him of any criticism of this governor. This governor's probably going to run for president, and he's going to tout all the great things he's doing in California. And he's expecting Jerry Dyer to be right there with him, nodding his head.
That's a good point.
So here's the deal, Guillermo. Then I'm taking time setting this up, but I want you to go and take as much time as you want to. How can you be that transformational figure that he wanted to be, has the principles, or I thought had the principles, to do it, had it lined up to do it, to be the most influential voice outside of the governor? There's nobody else out there. We're up and down the state. This guy has a statewide reputation. You had a chance to lead a revolution to reform public safety, to reform AB 107, which is a disaster, made our streets just totally unsafe. Proposition 47 to make alterations to add that. The water issue, taking big transformational issues and lead the way. But how? By embracing all of Newsom's policies, either by agreeing them outwardly or agreeing with them tacitly by not saying anything against them, like he did when Newsom went after Lisa Smitkamp, our DA. He stayed silent on that instead of defending his DA. How can you be a transformational figure when you, in California, when you're embracing all the policies that destroyed California, that's put it in the place that it is, out of control spending, no local control of anything, gas cars that's going to bankrupt the economy of Fresno County. Electric cars, I'm sorry. So go. I mean, you're embracing a agenda that, as I said, destroyed the state. So how can you? Where do you begin, if you even want to turn things around? Go ahead,
Alan. I don't even think it's that planned. I would have to say to say that Jerry's embracing an agenda is, I think, to say that they know what they're doing. They actually are looking at the agenda. They're connecting the dots. And I'm not sure that's even happening at the city council or in his administration. But I want to make one thing very clear. Jerry Dyer is now a politician. He is no longer chief of police. He's no longer that Jerry Dyer. Always in uniform, tough. He's not that Jerry Dyer anymore. And I think a lot of us are having a really hard time acknowledging that that is not who he is anymore. And I've said it many times, he doesn't want to be that man anymore. He doesn't want to be the law enforcer. He doesn't want to have that persona in this second chapter of his life. So as soon as you get that he's a politician who might want to become a career politician, I think then you start to realize some of the things he's done. Because you're talking about a transformational figure. And Jerry Dyer, I think, and you might, Guillermo, you're just crazy. Well, I've been called worse. I think Jerry Dyer, had he played his cards right, could have been a rising conservative Republican star on the national stage. Former police chief of one of the top 6 largest cities in California. Elected mayor of that said city. Conservative. He is loved, as you are, Alan, by independents, Republicans, and Democrats. What a way to be able to come in and say, whoa. Hey, politics aside, right is right, wrong is wrong. As police chief, I did this. We're all about law, order, and security. But as soon as he got in there, he abandoned that. That's not who he is. He entered in there with the possibility of doing some really great things for the city, for the entire state. But he went in there, I believe, thinking of the next office, which is why he's not doing anything transformational, which is why he's placating or trying to placate everybody. I seriously believe this man has higher ambitions, whether that be lieutenant governor, which if I could predict Jerry Dyer and his career path, I think the lieutenant governorship is probably something that he probably wants next, because he's not going to follow in the footsteps of Ashley and run for, like, and what did she run for? Secretary? Did she run for Secretary of State or Insurance Commissioner?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I forget. One of those. I forget. It's one of those two. He's not going to do that. He doesn't want to be one of those state officials because he wants that title, right? Lieutenant governor literally does nothing, but they're lieutenant governor, right? So, and he saw Bustamante become lieutenant governor, so he realizes that, hey, wait a minute. Out here in the tumbleweeds, as Kevin De Leon mentioned us out here in the Central Valley, I can aspire to state office.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
De Leon said that?
Yeah. He said all that place up there in the tumbleweeds.
I know that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going. I don't want to interrupt because you're going on. It's a good ranch on Sorrento lot.
So
keep going.
So that's where Jerry Dyer is right now. And for God help me, I don't believe he is surrounding himself with the right people. Unfortunately, he came in, he took over a lot of Lee Brand's holdovers. Some of them were great, like Georgianne White, right?
Yeah,
she was fantastic. And then he's brought in individuals where I sit back and I say, what is that person doing? Like, how are they an asset to your administration? So I'm not sure if anybody is there trying to be the coach to Jerry Dyer. I think people are there saying, Jerry Dyer, man, good job. They're more acclamation. He feels like the top dog. Like, I'm right. Everything I do is right. And here's the other thing, and this is where I think a lot of people are going to get mad at me. He also has managed to neutralize the Christian evangelical vote in the city, which is a very important vote. Because
what do you mean by neutralize?
They're not gonna. They're dissatisfied on where Jerry has gone. but they're not going to make a move because they feel that, well, it could be worse. So we're just going to run with this horse for right now. Because when I talk to the evangelical community and some of the pastors, I'm like, what do you think about Jerry? They'll pause and they'll be like, well, it's always that, not the guy it turned out to be, but you know what? It could be way worse, Guillermo. And I think as an evangelical community, I mean, that's horrible. We shouldn't say that. I think we should want what's best for Fresno. And Jerry Dyer is just not doing it. And you made a very good point, which I never even realized. If this is the time for him to do things in his first administration, your second administration, you said you're pretty much a lame duck. So, I mean, we're going to go from the Fresno I see now to even worse in the second reiteration of a Dyer administration. I'm not sure. No, I know Fresno does not have the time to waste, because if we continue going down this trajectory, we're going to end up like the Bay Area, and we're going to end up like LA and San Diego. And a lot of people might say, oh, you know what, Guillermo, that's not going to happen.
Let me ask you a question, hypothetical. If you were a major player in this town, say you're a developer X, and you're community activist Z, and
all in one,
no, not all separate. You have a meeting for what you want done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In Fresno, developer wants to get a project done, good for the city. The activist wants to make sure their organization stands the test of time. That's what. Who, if they had a chance to take one meeting, and it was between two people, Jerry Dyer and Miguel Arias, who do they go to? I don't know what your answer is going to be, but I just want to ask you. Go ahead.
Arias.
That's a stunning response, a lot of people listening. I happen to not totally agree, but agree more that would make me that makes me comfortable. I'm very uncomfortable with agreeing to you, but the truth, I try to live by the truth. I mean, you have a younger guy. You have a guy that appears to me to work 24/7 mapping out his future. His ability to bring a coalition of the left and just enough people on the right to get pretty much whatever he wants done.
Mm-hmm.
But he stood by his principles.
Oh, Miguel, yeah, absolutely.
He believes that, pastors are probably the biggest problem with Fresno.
Yeah.
He goes over there and you're flying that LGBTQ flag is absolutely the right thing to do. Abortion on demand. Now, if Miguel, somebody has him see this show or hear this show.
Oh, he listens.
And he disagrees with it. I mean, you're more than welcome to. I don't mean to put words in your mouth. I happen to like Miguel because he is Miguel. He's going to tell you who he is, and he's really not going to try to change who he is to get things done. His thing is, if you like me, you're going to get the good with the bad on what you agree with things. I don't really, you church pastors, you've had a lot of power. You're not the only game in town now. And by the way, I'm against a lot of how you go about things. But hey, let's try to work together on moving the city forward.
He's like a liberal Donald Trump.
I don't think you hear Jerry Dyer going, look, I'm a Christian. I support, this is my faith. Every decision I make is based on that faith, and and I would not let that worry you folks, whoever he's talking to, because my faith says I must treat, not should, but must treat everyone fairly, whether they share my faith, have no faith at all, gay, straight, trans, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm supposed to treat every human being equally because that's how God looks at things, and that's what he demands of me. I can't picture Jerry saying that to a group of left-leaning folks that he's trying to get on board. When he had the meeting, whoever it was with, to change his position on the flag, when he had a perfect alternative was to fly that flag out in Eden Plaza. And now you've set a precedent with that where who's to stop the NRA? I don't want the NRA to fly their flag over City Hall. I want the American flag, the state of California flag, the county flag,
And that's it.
and a city flag. Okay?
Well, not the county flag. They're getting on my nerves.
The city, okay. But anything else, it's not appropriate because it doesn't express the whole city. The whole city. That's what that represents. And when you fly a flag identified with a movement or a cause, you change all those rules. So how do you say no to the NRA when they want to fly the flag? Because you've flown the flag of the LGBTQ community. You can say, well, they're different. Well, why are they different? How about, People's Church is my church. I don't want them to fly a flag with a cross on it. Even though that's my faith, I don't want that flying over City Hall. And you could say, well, inside it says, in God we trust by the council. Well, it's not flying over the city. And by the way, it's the national motto. There's some different factors at play there. Not just making a flag. And, it's very divisive. And I can't imagine Jerry being able to, apparently he did that or something similar to that. By did that, I mean have that conversation because he initially said, no, I'm not going to fly the flag because of what the precedent is going to set. And then the two councilmen that he stood with him when he made that announcement, very courageously, I think it was Carbasi and Brentville, he didn't even let them know that he had changed his mind after having a meeting with someone from the LGBTQ community. And Jerry folded, got up there and cried and raised a flag. And I don't know if that's leadership. Let me quit trying to be cute. That is not leadership. If you're going to change horses in the middle stream like that, number one, you better do it very infrequently. You better not make a habit of that. It happens where you say, here's what I thought as a mayor. Here's what I thought when I made that decision. But a further review and additional information, I've changed my mind. Let me tell you why you need to be very careful when you do that. Number one, you better make sure you have a voluminous amount of information if you make a decision that's going to affect the city dramatically. Okay. Right from the get-go, have enough information that where there's a very slight possibility that there's any other information going to come in that's going to make you stop that initiative or turn it around. It happens. It happened twice in my administration on issues in 8 years. So you want to be open-minded about, if based on further information, but you don't make a real solid case that could further your cause of One Fresno, like he did with flying the LGBTQ flag at Eaton Plaza, flying it there. He made a great, solid decision that would have fed and further promoted his One Fresno. But no, he changed course and became super divisive.
Yeah.
I don't, going against his basic principles, unshakable principles and instincts, which were correct.
Let me give you another insight into the whole flag thing. What I think what we're all missing is how that one instance changed the course probably of his entire administration. Because after he made that decision, he left the Christian evangelical community bewildered. He left his conservative base bewildered, and they were really upset. And he got tons of attention. He got beat up and praised. And I think he realized, whoa, this seat, everyone's watching. And I'm not going to have friends on both sides at the same time. So post that, you've really seen Jerry not come out big on anything. Right after that,
I've noticed it.
Yeah, Adventure Church, that whole thing, he stayed in the background. Nothing. Public safety, all those issues, stayed in the background. He'll come out to do, and I'll call them the cheerleader things, which you need your mayor to do. But he goes all in on the cheerleader things. He'll show up to that. He'll do a press conference. He'll take pictures. He'll do all that. But if it's anything, Cesar Chavez, I don't think he really came from the renaming of Kings Canyon to Cesar Chavez. He didn't come out on that. So what the flag exhibited, and I think both sides, conservatives, the LGBTQ community, the evangelicals, I think everybody had a hand in play in really hindering the mayor, because he also wasn't, because he didn't have that leadership core to be able to rise above that and get through it. So he's retreated, kind of like a turtle, and he's not coming out. And that's really, I think, impacted this entire administration.
Well, you make really good points, and it's sad because
That's why you have
I'm a
me here.
still believer in
One more thing.
Dyer.
One more thing.
Yeah.
He came in during COVID, very beginning, and in the city of Fresno beat up. Remember the Waffle House guy?
He got COVID, a bad case.
He got a bad.
Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe he got real long COVID.
Maybe. But he came in. He really hasn't wanted to come out and take on these big issues. I think he's really afraid.
Let me ask you this: he's closed next year election for another term. He'll most likely win because he tries to talk anybody who wants to run against him out of running, which I just find astonishing. I mean, I would want, and I did my second term. You want to run? Run. Let's have this robust discussion about what's going on in Fresno. Let's let the people know. Is there alternatives to where we're moving this city? Let's talk about them.
I think he's scared. Maybe we talk about that.
Yeah, I think it. But his instinct is to remove any discussion about him or his record in anything.
Yeah,
his is to go on because he really feels like he could talk the wings off a fly. I mean, he really thinks he can talk anybody into anything. He's got that kind of. And that's a nice to have, but when you become so convinced of that and you start using it improperly, meaning you start trying to derail things that could help your growth as a human being if you face the music, like a real election with somebody actually running against you, and you can get out and explain to people what One Fresno is. And be able to shut me up. He should be saying, I'm going to shut that Autry up. A small voice, this and that, former mayor, old dude. But I'm going to get up in one of these forums and I'm going to explain to the people of Fresno why I made the decision to fly that LGBTQ flag at City Hall instead of Eaton Plaza. I'm going to show them why that was right for Fresno. I'm going to show them why I had to stay silent during this crime wave as crime continues to escalate. Why I haven't come out and tough on crime. Why I haven't gotten involved in statewide issues that directly affect Fresno, like AB 109, Prop 47. Why I did this, why I'm so close to the governor. Come out and say that. Give your case. Have confidence in being able to use those gifts God gave you, which are the enormous gifts of persuasion. Do them in a campaign. Why do you want to go and talk this Democrat out of running against you? Why? And then I'm left does it feed your ego to go around saying to people, I ran unopposed? Does that help you, as you say, politically in the future?
Oh, yeah, no.
I ran
zero
unopposed. I was so freaking good that nobody ran against me. That's not good for Fresno.
Yep.
It's not good for Mayor Dyer. And the Dyer that I knew before would understand that. He would be mentoring others about that very thing. Don't be afraid of confrontation. Don't be afraid of openness. Don't be afraid of defending your policies. He's a master at it, and he's lost it. He's running like a scalded dog from it.
Yeah.
Here, I use another dog phrase.
People aren't running
because he's a dog lover. But I love him. I feel like I'm his coach. I'm that coach that's trying to coach you up, Mayor. Jerry, my brother, hate me now, but hopefully thank me later. But as Angelo Dundee told Sugar Ray Leonard in the Thomas Hearns fight, I think it was in the 12th round, his eye was swollen. He wasn't following the game plan. Angelo Dundee looked right in his eyes and said those famous words, "You're blowing it, kid." Now, here's everybody feeling sorry for Sugar Ray. Angelo Dundee wasn't feeling sorry. He was in a fight. He looked him right in the eye and said that. "You're blowing it, kid." You could see Sugar Ray in one eye. Stands up, goes out, proceeds to knock Thomas Hearns out. Would he have done that without Angelo Dundee saying that? We don't know. But you look at his reaction, and Angelo Dundee had enough courage and enough love for Sugar Ray Leonard to tell him the truth. Unvarnished, direct, and it hurt, but it got his attention. And I say to the mayor right now, I love you, but you're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it. Top that.
I think we're ready for commercial. I'm not even gonna
Let's
try.
take a commercial. We'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? No, you got an opinion. We could talk about it. Well, social media.
Yeah.
What will you? I mean, if it's good enough, we can
Make sure you stop the clock, Jeremy. That will give you enough time and won't run into our time. All right.
Say, okay, next year's election year. That's your 4 years. Say that it ended in those 4 years.
What ended?
His administration. Just say,
okay.
What would be his legacy? If you're just sitting back there, you and you're looking at the Mayor Dyer 4 years, what would he be known for? What would be his legacy that he would leave behind? I mean, homelessness.
Yeah,
he made homelessness his number one issue, and there's still homeless everywhere. He got $125 million to fix sewer pipes.
I think his mayorship is going to be an asterisk to his chief of police. I think the history books will say Jerry was a great police chief. Oh, and by the way, he was also mayor of Fresno.
An aside.
That's
sad.
It really is, because God put him there. I believe God
with tremendous abilities
right there.
Tremendous gifts of communication.
Yeah.
And it's
what do you think his greatest legacy is going to be?
I think he sincerely tried on the homeless issue. I think he was preoccupied of wanting to be given all the credit for solving the homeless crisis. And if he would have been in the real world enough, he would have known that issue is not solvable in 4 years. Yeah. When he made the statement that in 4 years you will wonder where all the homeless are, illustrated a fundamental naivete and not understanding of the issue itself to make that kind of bold issue.
That's such a good point.
Yeah. And I think he felt that it was simply about getting a lot of housing. He had some things in the pipeline, and he felt like he could use his persuasive skills to get a lot of money, because that's what Jerry did as police chief. He went and got money. He got grants. That was his deal. He talked people out of money for Fresno. Thank goodness for him. But I think he got in that trap of that became his only skill. He didn't hone the other skills that he had. He didn't do enough thinking about the other things and thinking about how tough the job would be and thinking beyond the moment, saying, I'm going to be facing some really tough situations. Am I ready to stand by my unshakable principles? If the answer is yes, you got to make sure you define what those unshakable principles are and go through various scenarios. What if I'm challenged here, here, and here? You got to make your mind up before it happens. And that doesn't mean you're closed-minded. You got to make up your mind of how you're going to move. I mean, Ronald Reagan, they said, well, he was an actor before, yes, but his principles never changed from actor. It changed from when he was in the Screen Actors Guild. He was Democrat, became Republican. But from the moment he did that, and he was still an actor when he became a Republican, he never changed when he became president. He just he stayed the same. I don't think the same can be said for a mayor.
Yeah, true. Well said.
All right,
here we go.
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Simlaw, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
Hi, welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat on Manic Monday with Guillermo Moreno.
Hot Monday.
My young little brother. Well, you got to be my son. But we won't talk about it. Hey, you notice anything different about me?
You get in a fight with someone?
What?
Well,
hey, you notice it?
Yeah.
No, look, up here.
Yeah.
My hair.
Yeah.
You notice? What color is it? It's darker.
It's darker.
Okay, yeah.
That's not the first thing I wanted to go to.
What do you want to go to? In a fight? Am I that? Man, I will take these earphones off right now. We'll be wrestling around in here.
Well, it looks like you got a scratch right here on your...
Oh, yeah. I got to go to the West Coast Skincare. Make sure that's not a little cancer.
Oh, gotcha.
Feel bad about saying that?
Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Good.
Because I'm going to go in.
But I don't want to be
my wife. No, my wife gave me my Ronald Reagan hair. She gets sick of looking at the gray. And so that's why she gives me, well, it's time, Kim, to give me my Ronald Reagan hair.
I like it.
Wouldn't you know it? I was watching a rerun of All in the Family last night. I swear to you, one of the funniest episodes I ever seen. And that's saying something with All in the Family. Some hilarious episodes. Gosh, he was gifted. Got the honor of working with him on The Heat of the Night, Carol O'Connor. But he wanted to get a promotion at his job, and he needed to look younger. He thought it was going to go to a younger guy. So he colors his hair. Archie, and I'm sitting there, just got my hair colored. And I'm going, oh, Lord, I know you have a sense of humor now. If you ever get a chance, it's on MeTV. TiVo them. It'll bring joy in your life no matter what kind of day you're having. Put on an All in the Family rerun and just laugh your butt off. Okay, this immigration issue back in the day was viewed by folks on the left, in particular big city mayors in blue states, in what they call blue cities, predominantly Democrat, were very quick to say that if you had any problems with the border being open and let anybody and everybody in, you were a racist, you were you hated kids, you wanted to put them in cages, and you were just awful, awful people. So awful, and we're so much better than you that we're going to go to our city councils and declare us a sanctuary city. Well, the states, they couldn't be outdone by the cities. Well, we're going to show you, Massachusetts, Washington, we're going to be a sanctuary state. New York, sanctuary states. We would welcome them if we were a border town and border state. We would welcome them with open arms. Well, Governor Abbott and Ron DeSantis and some other folks in other states go, you know what? That's such a great gesture. You know, a lot of these people that coming across, they don't want to live in Brownsville, Texas. They don't want to live in Juarez. Why? Because there's no jobs there. There's no housing. They're living in tents. We ask them, you're in America. You have people that want you here. Where would you like to go? And they said, we would like to go to New York, Chicago, all of those sanctuary cities that say, come on, we want to feel welcome there. Plus, they got great benefits for us till we get back up on our feet. Well, they came. And suddenly, the old phrase, they're getting a taste of their own medicine. Mm-hmm. They're understanding the truth now. Just 3 days ago, I believe it was, Governor Maura Healey of Massachusetts, all right, declared a state of emergency in the entire state of Massachusetts, not just Boston, saying they cannot handle the influx of immigrants. It's too much. Now, they can handle them in Brownsville, a city of what? 1,000th the size, can somehow handle this invasion of folks that need food, need water, need shelter. And if they don't take care of them, they're racist. And these governors are racist if they don't take care of them. And in New York, Adams had hit it for a while with these immigrants inside some hotel rooms. They spilled out on the streets, and to Adams' credit, he goes, okay, I got caught cheating. I got caught on a cheater episode. Here they are. The media caught him, Guillermo. They're all out, camped out on the sidewalk. He goes there going, okay, I've had them in there the whole time. We can't handle them. The border has to be Biden. You got to do something. You know, the next cop, he knew he had been had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He knew he had been had, so he was smart enough. But Mayor Maura Healey, the governor, stayed. Now, her lieutenant governor, Kim Driscoll, not to be undone, or outdone, rather. She is undone. She has a solution to this.
Oh, I want to hear this.
For the people of Massachusetts, since they're there.
Open up your homes?
Oh, my gosh. She looked right into the camera and appealed to all the people of Massachusetts, all the families, to open up your homes to not just one immigrant, but the families. Bring a family into your home. She actually said, now, that sounds good. That sounds Christian.
Yeah, did she do it?
Actually, that's my point. I'm sitting there looking at that TV screen going, man, I know you're in a tough spot, but how dumb do you think we are? What kind of, Jeremy plays it once in a while, what kind of fool do you think we are? Why don't you, if you got up there and said, you know what, here's what I would like you all to consider, because I've already done it. We have an immigrant family. Here to my right is little Jose. Here to my left is Vladimir from Ukraine and Russia came across the border. Mixed family. They're all and we have them in our home, and we're going to keep them as long as it takes, as our president says, to end this immigration crisis. I would have said, okay. Well, what are your thoughts? I hate that. Well, I like the song, but the music comes on. We got to pick this up tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
We will kick right off with this tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
All right, with you taking it, I promise I'll throw it right to you. I won't blow V8. I won't.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate and love you so much. If you like the show, tell folks, share the feed, tell our little Autry's Army's growing, and who knows where we can go with this thing. God bless you. God bless America. Do your best and let God do the rest. It's going to turn out exactly the way it's supposed to. Love y'all and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.